Alright, I probably should have done a video putting this together, but there's not much to it, so let's just review. Basically, this is a Venturi valve that I've created for my inlet system on my Aquaponics system. The water will come in the T here and exit the bottom here. So what I have here is a 3/4 T, and then a 3/4 by half bushing. And then I changed to CPVC piping because it's a little bit smaller outer dimension than regular PVC. So a 1/2 inch CPVC coupling fits perfectly snug inside the bushing here. And then a small piece of CPVC 1/2 inch pipe into that end of the coupling. None of this is glued because it just needs to be airtight. I've jammed it in there pretty tight. It'll be fine. And then the top, you could put a cap on that and then just poke a little hole in it, drill a tiny hole in it, but then you have no control over the airflow, which isn't a big deal. I'll show you in a minute at the end of this one that I have running with a cap. So this time I wanted to put a valve on it. So basically instead of a cap, I filled that up with some silicone and glued a piece of vinyl tubing in here that comes down into the coupling a little bit so I can control the airflow. Okay, now the inside, the other end of this coupling, has another piece of CPVC pipe in it that comes down to just past the elbow, and it's cut at an angle. Not sure if you can really see that or tell that it's cut at an angle. Let's try focusing, that'll help. So there, it's cut at an angle, a back angle, so that the long end is facing the inlet. And then the cut end is on this side. So you can see there. See that? So what that does is the water will flow in from here and be forced around that pipe. And when it does that, the other side of the pipe is open. So as the water comes around that pipe, in this case coming down, it will create a vacuum around the end of that inner pipe. So then as the water goes around that pipe and then down, it's drawing a vacuum at that opening as well, which pulls air in from that pipe. So the angle is not necessary. It'll still work with a flat cut pipe, but you'll get much more airflow and a stronger vacuum if you cut it on an angle like that. And then it should just extend down. You know, the top end of my cut starts about midway down here in the opening. So that pipe should just be at the turn of the elbow for it to work best. Okay, so that's basically it. So once this silicone dries, I'm just going to replace the elbow that I currently have on my inlet with this T, and I will have an aerated water inlet. So let me show you one in use now that actually uses an end cap. So if you look at this one here, it has a small end cap on it, which I drilled a tiny hole in the top. Okay, same kind of setup as this one, with the coupling into a bushing. In this case I used a much longer standpipe. I'm not sure why I did that. I should cut it down. But anyhow, yeah, it's the same idea, and then this is basically the result. So I'll put my finger over that little hole in the cap and you'll see the air will stop. Okay? So I used to have an air pump in this tank and listen to it humming all the time, and the added expense of electricity, and now that's all been replaced with a mechanical device. Free air. And Oscar loves it just as much. So there you go. Venturi valve. Great feature.